welcome to another episode of Bag Combos, aka the Bag Podcast.
This ain't no hoe shit. This is that bad talk.
This is a platform that I wanted to create to have great conversations where we discuss just about anything. Relationships, real life, food, music, even that demon time.
We the type of call eyes and have a stand up. Make a thotty call your homie.
Did you get the shit I shared you, Jan?
Yeah, the doc. Yeah, I did.
I mean,
It was just a
kinda
rundown.
late. Yeah, I mean, like you can look at it as we go, but ideally I should have sent it earlier.
I mean, the nigga
Yeah,
on his phone
facts.
at this point, so
It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, all right, people, let's get into episode number 8. Episode number 8. Look how far we have come. My name is Shawn. If you don't know, now you know. West Philadelphia, born and raised. The playground is where I didn't spend most of my days. I had video games, so I stayed in the house sometimes. I lived in a dated neighborhood, but that's me.
Yo, he
We'll get to
always says that.
We'll get to my co-host, Mr. Sharfo, as I like to call him. He now has his AKAs on lock, so AKA,
Sid the kid,
AKA,
Sid the science kid,
AKA.
future doc on the block.
All right, people.
What
That's
am I getting myself into today?
We got our guest today. Another good friend of ours. Everybody on the podcast is we cool with. Come on now. He can introduce himself. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I'm Jan Conan. I'm born and raised in West Africa, Ivory Coast. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to know? Let me know.
Shout out your socials. Where can they find you at?
King of Coco on Instagram at King of Coco. Coco as in chocolate. Coco as in chocolate.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All right.
I never told you this, but I don't how. I saw that name when you changed it while we were at school. I was like, dang, you beat me to it.
That's crazy.
You were gonna change yours too?
It occurred to me at some point, but I was like, nah, that's OD.
You wasn't
Yeah,
too
just-
high and mighty with King. King Sarvo.
No, it's because the
Sid.
King part, and then he did that, and I was like, dang, like my middle name's actually King. Like that would have
Right.
worked.
Okay.
I just did it because my country was at one point was number one producer of Coco.
Show me the birth certificate. But yes, fun fact about Mr. Jan. He literally, upon our introduction, it's literally with his name. I'm Jan. I'm from the Ivory Coast. Literally, that's all we heard. Probably like the first few months of meeting this man.
Wow.
If you know this man, you have to know where he's from. If you don't, then like clearly you just wasn't paying attention.
Facts. And Shawn was like the first black kid I met at school too. And that was the same introduction you gave to. You were like, "My name's Shawn. I'm from West Philadelphia." And I was like, "I'm Jan Conan. I'm from Ivory Coast." You know.
Oh my god,
That's mad funny.
Look, man, it is what it is. But today's topic is a doozy. But it's simple. It's what some people cherish, what some people have their backbone from, will get their backbone from. It's family. And a lot of people have good ones, some people have great ones, some people have okay ones. And some people are unfortunate enough to have shitty ones, but everybody has grown up and brought the wonderful things from their family, or even the bad, and they've definitely learned from them in some way, shape, or form. But here we just gonna talk about it in any type of way. We gonna get into it. I'm gonna push it off to my partner to start us off and see what we about to get into.
All right. Just a quick rundown of topics. So as you can see, well, I've told y'all this before. I'm also African. I was born in Ghana, came here when I was younger. Jan is obviously from the Ivory Coast. And Shawn is American. So we're gonna be talking about
Well,
our different.
damn. All right. I know I'm the lonely black dude out here, but Jesus Christ, like you could have said Black American. Damn.
So we're gonna talk about those different dynamics of growing up in
Mhm.
those different households.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about if we really care about our family's opinion about certain stuff, if we take it into consideration with our life choices or just stuff that we want to do. Gonna talk about family as a whole, and if it lasts forever, or you act, or if your family's just like any other person, you can get cut off.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna talk about future plans. About we're all family guys here. Um, Fathers down the line, way down the line. So we're gonna talk about what we'd want for our own family. Kids, how we'd raise them.
Ladies, I will
We're,
not be
we're
shooting at the
gonna
club
we're
no
gonna
time soon.
So we're gonna be talking about a lot, but like I said, we're gonna start off pretty general. I'm gonna give the floor to our guest, who is straight off the boat. So we're gonna
I'm
we're
not
gonna
sure,
go.
but
We're gonna
it's been a good 9 years. Like I started high school
okay,
here. So
okay, but you're technically still off the boat. Though you're the most
you're
off the
right.
boat of all of us.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
But we're gonna give the floor to you. You can explain like briefly how it was growing
I
up
don't even think I
African
ever been on
household.
a boat.
I've never actually I have been on a boat, but it was like a
We
short
swim. We
distance.
swim here. We swim here.
Oh,
Nah, you wildin', you wildin'. But
That,
tell
that's
us
how.
how.
That's how. That's how. Look, that's how like the white people. White people be like, "How'd you get here from Africa?" I'm like, "How else do you travel the world?" Plane. So like to fuck with them, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, we swim here. Like it took us like 3 days,
Swimming.
you know." Yeah, but that's
That's mad
so
funny.
sorry. What was
But
your question?
how is it growing up? In an African household, specifically being from the Ivory Coast? Is anything annoying? Anything
Okay.
that was enforced on a daily basis? Strictness?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Because
Well,
I think I know some of it.
I feel like back home it's like more of an extended family. So like you have your mom, your dad, and your siblings or whatever, and then you have your aunts, uncle, grandma, grandpas. And I think like we all lived in like the same household. Like there wasn't like any privacy, I would say. Like all the business you did, everybody knew about it because everybody was in the same household, you know. And like we did it unconsciously, but everything we did, we included like the extended family in whatever we did. So and then when we moved here, it's just me and my immediate family. So the extended family stayed back home. So it was different. We had to like adapt to it, but it was still like we still call them and like update them on stuff. But now I feel like we're more like the American family, like the immediate family, mom, dad, siblings, and all that. That's our business, you know. Yeah.
Were your parents strict about anything in particular?
Um. Well, my dad is a professor, so you know, school. Uh, my mom, my mom, my mom beat me up so much because I used to do some stupid shit, man. She was strict about everything, like what time I go outside, what time I get home, like if I stay home, like not even a minute, a second. Like if I have to be home by like 8 and I'm home by 7:59, I get a beating. Like, you know what I mean? Like I had to be, you know what I mean? My dad was more strict on like school stuff and
wait,
like how I present
what?
myself.
Huh?
What?
You said a minute late. You said if you was supposed to be
If
home
I was
by
a minute
8.
early, if I was a minute early, she'd be mad.
Oh,
So why aren't you home early? And I was like, that's how strict she was, bro.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, my mom was more like social side, and my dad was more academics and like how I present myself. He was
who
strict.
who gave the more of the physical punishments?
just said
Well, my mom beat me out more, but my dad beat me up, and like my dad would like,
Worse. You
yes, like you know,
square up.
all right,
bro. That I
we
was like, I remember I had friends over at my house one time. We were playing like PS2 or some shit. My dad I didn't tell my dad that friends were coming over, and you know, like some African kids that like to steal from people's houses. And my dad has that experience with that where people stole from his dad's house. So he told me like before you invite somebody, just let me know, like, and we just talk about it. One day, I don't know what the hell was going on through my head. I invited like 5 people over.
Oh my
We were
god.
playing. We were playing
That's
like
supposed to be one
PS2.
or two, bro.
I know. I invited like 5 people over. I don't know what the hell I thought I was for a minute. I was like, "It's my house too." You know what I mean? I invited like 5 people over. My dad gets home from work. He sees all these kids in his living room playing FIFA or some shit. He got tight and kicked everybody out. Literally, this man squared up with me, bro. I'll never forget this. He was like, "I tell you not to bring people here," and then he just started boxing, bro. That I'll never forget. But my mom beat
How,
me more, but it didn't hurt as much as when my dad beat me.
how old was you when that happened?
I was probably like 12,
Oh yeah.
12, 11,
That
probably.
was the time for you to get the hands right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, dude.
Nah, but like low key though, I mean, outside of all that, I still would say that at least from a visual perspective, it seems that you're
Yeah.
still very close with I would say your immediate family. I would
Yeah.
definitely say more so your mom. I don't know about how close you are with your dad, but like
Hmm.
get into that real quick.
Oh, I'm super close with them. Like, I feel like when we moved in, we had to adapt to the just immediate family. We got super close. Like I'm out in Boston right now. My parents are in Connecticut. We'll chat about anything. Like, if there's anything I need based on like financial advice or like sometimes my mom asks me about like girls and stuff like that. And I have a girlfriend now actually, so she asked me about her and stuff like that.
Whoa,
Whoa,
whoa!
hold up.
You didn't know this?
You announced
Yeah,
this on here. Wow, ladies, he's off the market.
I
He's
am off
been
the
had a
market.
girlfriend.
We'll get into that, but continue your sentence.
So before I was rudely interrupted, uh, yeah, no, me and my parents are chill. Like, I remember on Mother's Day, we went out to like just it was just me and my parents. My siblings stayed home because they just didn't want to go out. But we went out. We had a few drinks. We were kind of a little tipsy. We talked about anything. And like we're pretty close, I would say. Yeah,
A drink with your parents? Wow,
yeah,
That's
dude.
tough.
experience.
Oh, like I didn't know. Like when I moved out the house, that's when they started to be like more chill. Like they treat more of me as an adult, I guess. Like, I don't know. Every time it's
Must
just
be
like you need to
nice.
be home by this. Yeah,
Must be nice, bro.
yeah. You guys can't drink with your parents.
Nah,
First,
I
I
mean,
could drink with my father, but that's very seldom.
Okay.
My mother, she's like, I couldn't tell you. When it comes to that, like I've drank like twice in front of her, but it's awkward.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. Like she still carries with the sentiment. When I was a little kid, I was like, I'm never drinking alcohol. And it's just like I'm a kid. Like
Yeah.
that's mad funny.
I
Thank you
think
for
his
that.
mom might smack. I think Sid's mom might smack him with the Bible if he drank some liquor in front of the house.
That's why I always be in my room where I'm drinking.
Oh my god, where she
Yeah.
walked in right now?
I mean,
It's
it just looks like juice.
but if
I don't got
she,
the bottle out.
what if
If
she's
she like
be like,
tasted it,
what if she like, what you drinking?
What you drinking, Sid? What you drinking?
nah. The closest she ever caught me was when I came home, from like dinner, and I forget who I went out with, but like I don't know why I did this. I came home right. I'm a little tipsy, but it's not like visceral. Like y'all see me drunk. I was just like feeling nice.
Yeah, we
So
have
I
seen you drunk,
came.
bro.
I
Which
come.
version? Shit, which
It was
version?
just like it was like it was the beginning stages.
Or,
So like I was just chilling. So I come home. I mean, it got worse when I got to my room, but I was chilling when I got inside. I came home. I don't know what compelled me. It's like I was like, let me go to my room. Let me just say hi, like just say goodnight.
wow.
So I go to her room. I was like, she goes, hey, what's up? How you doing? All this stuff. And then what's it called? I gave her a hug, and then she was just like, have you been drinking? And I was like, oh no, she caught me. And I was like, no, I wasn't drinking. She was like, are you sure? I was like, no, we went to dinner. It's just juice, it's just soda. And she was
Wow.
just like, are you sure? And I was like,
Did she hit
yeah,
you with
like,
the? Did she hit you with the "I wasn't born yesterday" speech?
nah. She was just like, she just gave me a look. She was like,
Mm.
She probably think you still a saved young man. That's.
Mm-hmm.
and I just left. I went to my room. I was like, that was dumb. I'm not gonna do that again.
She probably know that bottle sitting right under your bed.
Nah, I'm very good
Bro,
about
hold
hiding
on.
this.
Pause. Time out. Time out. Why do you? Can I see the set?
The
Let me
set,
let me see the set real quick.
it's I'm messing my
Turn.
setup.
Okay, the headboard. Oh, all
Oh
right.
shit,
I was just making sure we ain't had the same shit. But
no, but it's solid. There's way more space in here, but I'm using my.
Did you move?
No, I wish
Oh,
that'd be tough, but
oh,
yeah,
um,
get on our
yeah.
level. Get on our level.
Okay,
oh, Sean,
he.
you got a place too, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Let's get it.
I'm moving. I'm waiting to see if I get into medical school first.
Yeah.
If I
Okay.
don't, I'm going to get a new. I'm going to look for a new job now
Yeah.
anyway because
Hmm.
this job ain't it. Well, it's not. Not it. It's just boring, and
Yeah.
I want to get paid more, and I know I could get paid more.
That's fine.
So if I don't get in, get a new job, paid more, get an apartment. But that is later down the line.
Yeah.
But what Jan said is majority. Well, not majority. Like certain parts, it's kind of similar to mine.
Hmm.
I am, like I said, I'm from Ghana. My parents are a little bit more strict in terms of me living in the house. I can't drink with my parents. To this day, they still don't think I drink. Um,
Your mom know you drink, bro.
I mean, my dad probably thinks I do because, yo, I got caught up on my phone was messed up. So it was like after freshman year, right? My phone was messed up. I couldn't get a new phone for a minute for like a few weeks, whatever. So I'm signing. So I was like going on my social media on both their phones, and I was usually using my dad's phone because he wasn't using his phone that much. I signed in Snapchat and like Instagram, all this stuff. But whenever I was done, I always signed out. For some reason, Snapchat wasn't signed out on his phone. So he comes up. I come home one day, and like him and my mom are in the living room, and he's like, "Yo, come here, just come here." And I was like, "What's
Wow.
up?" So he pulls out his phone, and he's just like, "So what do you do at college?" And I'm like, I
Wow.
go to class. I was like, I go to class and I
Wow.
just hang out with friends and work out, whatever. And he was just like, he was like, you be drinking? You be going to parties? And I was
Wow.
like, nah, like, what do you mean? And then
Why you
he was just
asshole?
like, you're lying to me right now. You're lying to both of us. And then I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I see the app. And then he's scrolling through all these photos of me at all these parties and stuff. I'm just like, oh shit.
What it was your
Was
memories?
it your memory? Yeah.
Yeah. He was scrolling through my memories. I was like,
Yeah.
You was
Thank
a
God you didn't have anything
dickhead.
worse than that. I
I
mean,
was
that's
like,
fine, but thank
oh
God you didn't have
shit.
anything worse than that. You know what
Nah,
I
it
mean?
was basically most of it was really just like he saw one of me drinking, but it was like just me holding a Bud Light can, like,
Okay.
and we just took a selfie. And then he would see like I don't want to make it sound like I was just out there, but like
Nigga.
he just saw
Nigga.
like no, he
A
saw
bunch of white
no,
women. A bunch of white
he saw
women.
yeah, he would see like a lot of chicks and he was just like, so what you be doing? What you be doing? And I'm just like, they just friends of mine. Like we just be chilling sometimes.
Bro, it's
He's like,
no
you
way.
lying.
It's
He's just like,
no
you
way.
lying.
I feel like they your mom might be just trying to like not believe it, but I they have to know. They have to. Cause what if she listened to this?
How would she find it?
You don't think she could listen to this?
We
If we become where we actually want to become, which is the Joe Rogan contract,
I would be out of this house right now. I wouldn't care.
you telling me she wouldn't hit you with the My Sydney? She still
What?
thinks you read the Bible every day.
No, I told her I don't every day. There was a point I said I was, but I didn't. And there was a point I actually was, but like
That was probably for
life.
maybe the first 2 weeks of freshman year, and then you
But
stopped.
yeah, life. But yeah, so mine's a little bit more strict. I can't drink with them. Um, they always told me no girls. Until you know I figured my life out, or basically finished. They at least my mom was always like, "Yo, like become a doctor, get finish your education, then you can worry about that." And in my head, I'm like, I'm also a human, so
They
it's like,
wanted you to be a 35-year-old virgin. Okay.
yeah, that don't work. That don't work. If I really did that, I would really be like 31,
People got
31
needs,
plus.
man. You
Cause
got
it's just
needs,
like,
bro.
so they gave me the whole speech when I went to college, like no girls, no drinking, no smoking. Um, they're really strict about. They're very traditional Africans. They're not very progressive. They're not about that LGBTQ life. Or,
What? All right, bro. All
Nah,
right.
I mean,
no,
same my
because
parents.
this is literally a talk that they had with me. They're like, "Yo, if we find out
We don't need
that
the
shit,
world to cancel your parents, bro.
where they, I mean, I don't agree with it. So,
All
and
right.
I'm also not part of the community, but I have nothing
Yeah,
against it. But it's just like they was very adamant about. I'm just emphasizing how strict they were about stuff. And like school was always a big thing, niggas. And I was smart. I was like pretty. I did pretty well in school, but like it was just never enough because I was like
Mm,
I hovered
mm.
between like
Ain't
a
that the
high.
truth?
I hovered between like a high B and like A minus most of my life. And they were like, "Oh, why can't you get 100? Why can't you get 100? Why
What
can't you
the
get 100?"
fuck? What?
Niggas would
my
bring
mom,
home a 99. My dad would be like, "So why isn't it 100?
my
Why
mom
isn't
will
it
always hit
100?"
me like, my mom will always be like, "What did the kid that got 100? What did he do to get 100? Like, why did
Exactly.
he do it?"
Yo.
Yeah,
Be like,
like,
yo. I'm like,
I don't know what he
bruh,
did.
they don't care, man. They don't care
Yeah,
how hard the test was. They don't care if there's a curve. They don't even know what a curve is. So
Look,
God forbid you bring home like a B. I brought home like 80s a few times. They were like, yo, what's up with you? Do we gotta do we
wow.
gotta move you somewhere? You can go back to Ghana. We didn't bring you
Whoa.
over. That
Whoa.
that, that was always a threat.
Not the threat.
Whenever they felt like I wasn't taking school seriously enough, that was immediately the first threat.
Wow.
Because it's just like it was always like, yo, like we're here working so hard, then you go to this private school, all this stuff. You bring home like 80s and
yeah.
low 90s, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but I also am human. I can't get 100 every time, so I kind of just like let it go. I was just like, I'd bring home a 92 and I'd get roasted for it, and I'd just be like,
Who
nigga, I got a 92. I
who
don't care.
wants that? My thing is who wants that child? I'm not gonna say who wants that child, but like obviously that's the goal. But in theory, I feel like if you have that child, you deal with a lot of other problems. That's like 100, 100, 100. There are
I
probably
feel like
quite a bit
if
of
you gain
people
a
who exist and are still able to socialize and shit. But like,
I
what
feel
at
like if
that
you're
point, what
doing
do you say?
I feel like if you're doing that well on a regular basis, you're just weird. There's gotta be something off
Yes, but
about
there
you.
are
Yeah, there's gotta be.
good. Go
Like
ahead.
whether it's what
Go ahead.
there's usually something off. Cause like I even in my middle school and high school, like dudes that was like top of the class or whatever, like they were nice people, but like they were just awkward people to talk to.
But
Very
I mean,
weird
from
people.
like a
Very
parent
sheltered people.
perspective, like from a parent perspective, like you want that, but like, are you, like if a motherfucker constantly get 100s, like, are you just going to be like? I feel like parents, to some degree, parents just have that switch that can't be like flicked up to where it's like, all right, I got like 500s in a row, and they like, oh well, you could have got 101, or oh, keep it up. Or,
Yeah.
or sit there and be like, oh, all right, well, you better not get that 98. And it's like, bro, congratulations, thank you. Like, just say that.
My
That's all
mom
you
was
gotta
nice.
do.
Yeah, my mom was definitely nice about it, but my dad was just like,
Yeah.
nah, because my dad would be like I would get honor roll and shit, and then he'd be like,
Wow.
because at my schools was like it was usually like an honorable mention or something like that, and then second honors, first honors, and then like principals list or whatever. I would either get like first, second honors, and I think I got principals list maybe once. No, what happened was my first year at my middle school slash high school, I got principals list, and like that just set in their mind. They're like, "Ah, right, you gotta get it every time now." And then I
And
obviously didn't get.
what
What's
about
up?
like rewards and stuff like that? Like when you get good
Rewards.
grades, you get
It
reward
was
you?
based off. Yeah, it was based off your grades. It's like, hey, you
Okay.
do on this test, I'll get you some.
Okay,
Or
got
you
you.
do
Yeah.
this, you do. If you get honor roll, if you get this level of honor roll, we'll get you this.
Okay,
So
got
it's just like it's kind of like transactional.
you.
So it's like you're not really doing it to learn, you're doing it to like get something out of it. Because if
Wow.
so,
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't feel too bad about being a Black American now. Um, I would say that I was I was an AB student. Um, had a few C's and D's in there every now and then, but it was just like small test grades and shit. But I was never uh school was I'm not going school was never wasn't easy, but I always liked math and I had the kind of natural smart thing, but I wasn't like straight A natural smart. I was just like, all right, I know how to do this as long as I just put my mind to it. So it wasn't really like no strict shit like that. Like I would get the questions of like, why do you have a 79 or why do you have this 82 or shit like that, but it would be few and far between or whatever. I basically got in trouble because I talked a lot. I'm pretty sure, as most of y'all know, as my friends. Um,
You don't talk
but
much, bro. I don't see how somebody's talking.
or me or him, or him.
No, Sean.
trust me, I talk a lot. Yeah, I feel
Damn,
like you should know that, but I talk a lot.
I didn't know that.
As a child. Um, I ran my mouth as I run my mouth now. I ran my mouth as a child. I didn't really have a filter then either. Um, Story time that I'll get into another day, but just the gist of it, I did tell a little girl, "Bitch, you better give me my crayon back." Um, but
You can't say that.
there's a lot to that story, but yeah.
Damn,
But I would say overall, I had a good childhood and shit like that in terms of just like stuff. Like I was sheltered a bit when it came to certain things being in the city and shit like that. But I mean I didn't go without. I had food and shit, food I liked and all that type stuff.
hmm
I was basically the only child for 10 years, on my mom's side at least. Dad's side I have a younger sister and an older sister, but never really like lived with them and stuff like that. So I would say that I had a good childhood in the grand scheme of it. Um, and when you start to peel back smaller onion layers, then that's when shit starts to unravel. But I don't regret anything, and I'm fortunate. And it definitely put me to the person I am today and the experiences and stuff like that. Do I wish certain things went other ways? Sure. Pretty sure that goes for anybody. But I would say, speaking of that, what do you say, Jan, that like something that you like carry with you today that like they always that you kind of was instilled with like from day one basically?
Well, my parents always instilled into me like you, you kind of you work before you play, kind of like work hard, play hard. Like as a kid, my mom always told me like if you want these things, you have to work for it. You know what I mean? If you want nice things, you have to work for it. You have to put in the effort with the work first, and then like go play harder later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I do it unconsciously a lot actually. So like I be like I never like I want to put up Jordans right now, so I be like I gotta work, I gotta do this and like get this good grade. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like work hard and play hard. That's what I do unconsciously now. So like yeah, and my parents are pretty both hardworking too, so I feel like that they pass it down really well to me. So
Mm.
yeah, I think.
Look, man, it be like that. Personally, I would say that um another thing, as I like to say, I was told a lot, which um certain people don't like nowadays, but I was certain things were never sugar coated
Mhm.
to me, and like now I the same way as y'all have heard in episodes before, and just if you know me personally, I try my hardest not to really sugarcoat shit. If you ask me, I keep my mouth closed majority of the time. When I get real comfortable with you, that's when I become talkative. But I'm more of an observant type of person. And then once you get to that level of comfort, then I talk more. But when you ask me my opinion, I'll say it. And I won't necessarily sugarcoat it. I'll try to sweeten it up depending on the comfort level. But majority of the time, I try not to sugarcoat shit. And I would say the vast majority of my life, shit was not sugarcoated. I always kind of had the raw version of stuff, especially later as I got older and shit. So I would say that's definitely something that I carry with me today. Also, the concept of you can only spend $1 once. And I learned this the hard way because I would always make my mom would always make these like silly bets with me every time I got a little bit of money. And like as a kid, you always try to be right or whatever and shit. And this is kind of why I don't bet anymore today because it was like weird shit to where she knew the answer, but it was just like a teaching moment. And she would be like, "I got $5." I'm like, "Yeah, I got $5." And we would talk about something, and then she'd be like, "All right, bet me your $5." And I'd be like, "All right, bet," because I know I'm right. And then the $5 is gone, and now I don't have money. And then I was like, "Fuck, I don't got money no more."
Dang, she
She gave
hustling.
it back, but it was like lesson learned. And then I'm like, all right, from that point, I don't necessarily like. That's why I'm like, I don't like wasting my own money,
Can
because
you give an example? Because that's interesting.
the example, this is the dumbass example. I basically was like, "Mom, Ludacris don't got braids. No, Ludacris still got braids," and she was like, "No, he don't." And I'm like, "Mom, yes, he do. He do still got braids." She obviously knew the niggas didn't have braids anymore. But I know this was pre-internet. Well, I ain't gonna say pre-internet, but it was like the extreme rise of the internet. And I was like, "Mom, he still got braids. He still got braids." And she was like, "All right, bet you $5." And I was like, "All right, bet," because I know
Wow.
he got braids or whatever. So she showed me a recent picture of him like a couple weeks ago, and the nigga didn't have braids no more. And then I was just like, "Fuck." And I was like, "Here." Gave me $5, and I was like, all right, now I got no more money to get food. She gave me $5 back, but then I was like, all right, lesson learned. I know not to bet no more unless I'm sure, and I know now that you can't spend money twice because if you spend it once, it's gone. And then like that day, I brought food with the $5, and I no longer had the $5. So it's like, as a kid, you kind of just like, oh, money is money to where it's like
Mhm.
you either realize that like your parents got it so that they could buy you shit or shit just kind of come out of thin air. But then at that point I was just like, all right, I no longer can money is only spent once. You can get more of it, but that shit is only spent once. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how I'm conservative with my money. That's why it's like that's why I ask niggas mad questions if you try and go somewhere, like how much is to get in? I ain't paying nowhere to get in if it's ass. How much is a
Yeah.
drink?
Sean used to do that a lot in school, man.
How much is
Oh.
the drinks? Like, what's the range what we spending right now? Because I'm
Now I feel I know where you come from now. I know where you come
Yo, we went to Flipside during graduation.
from. Yeah,
This nigga is ordering drinks like it's happy hour because he's not aware that uh the place they don't got happy hour no more.
yeah.
And apparently it's no more it's no more happy hour period over there.
what?
Yes, there's no more happy hour.
Even if the state is open, like even if there's no more like COVID rules and stuff like that.
They
They
don't have
just
happy hour
Flipside
anymore.
just took happy hour.
Yeah, because when we went for graduation, their reasoning was like, "Oh, we don't do happy hour on, I think Saturdays anymore." They're like, "Oh, no more happy hour on Saturdays." It was either Saturdays or the weekend. And I went there Sunday. Well, I called first because I wanted to make sure they were open because I figured maybe they were closed for July 4th. They're like, "Oh, we're open," and I was just like, "Oh, like when is happy hour?" They're like, "Oh, we don't have happy hour anymore." I was like, "Oh, wow," and then I was like, "Oh, well," because every day they have a different drink special, and I was like, "Oh, what's the special today?" They're like, "Oh, it's $8 margaritas." I was like, "Okay." So I went, but I was just like, "Damn, y'all don't got happy hour no more. This is the whole thing in the 4 years we were here." And they're
Niggas
like,
probably
"No."
losing money or something. I don't, that's out of pocket. But what was you about to say about me with the happy hour?
This nigga was ordering drinks like they half price because in his mind was happy hour.
Yeah.
We get the bill. He's like, "Whoa, what is this? What is going on here?" Because this nigga ordered like 6 drinks, and then he ordered like 6 drinks, and then someone at the table told him he was like, "Yeah, there is no happy hour until today." He's like, "Oh, damn." Because in his mind, he's thinking he got paid for this, but luckily it was paid for by someone. Because I got him a drink and I bought him a couple drinks.
At that
And
point,
then
though, and he knows this when it comes to me and money, man. I don't. If you don't tell me ahead of time, I will sit my ass home. You're not gonna. If I don't want to spend my money, I'm not gonna spend my money. Especially
No,
when
bro,
it comes.
that's a good skill. I wish I had because I feel like if somebody invites me, I'm like I don't have money, but you know what? You only live once, bro.
That's true, and I pick and choose.
I
Yeah,
do that
But
with certain situations.
yeah.
if I'm like at school and depending on what it is, who it is, like cool. But if it's like if we going out to eat, cause like I like doing that shit. But if it's like, all right, bro, let's go to this club, and you like, oh,
$75 cover.
or it's like
Fuck you, man.
10 to 20, 10 to
Fuck
20.
you,
I'm not
sir.
fucking going in.
I would have
Yo,
went.
fuck you. No, so check this out. So check this out, Sean. In Boston out here, we were supposed to go to the club with these girls, bro.
Yeah.
And then I took him to a bar with 2 of my friends. And then we were talking about it in the bar, how like they wanted to go to like what Icon or some shit and order like bottle and get a VIP section
Yeah.
for like probably like 15 people, and it was gonna be $75 each person. I
Bro,
said I
we
said
go
I wasn't gonna.
home.
Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna go because $75. I could be doing something better than $75.
Yeah, I don't have that type
Not
of money yet.
like if I spend $75, like I better come home with a wife, the girl that's gonna carry my kids, bro. $75 at a club? Nah. I
Not
said no.
even.
So and then they kept making fun of me at dinner because of that.
Man,
I'm not
I
going
was
no club with $75.
I was I only came out of him because his 2 friends was coming out because I think because what it seemed like they both wanted to go and they were trying to convince him to go and they were trying to
man.
convince him to go and they were like, "Oh, you got 75. Don't worry about it. Like you good. You won't get it back." And I was like messing with him like, "Bro, you got it. Go ahead." And then he was like, "Oh, you gonna come?" I was like,
Nah.
Nah, bro. I'm the
because I
type
was
of
because
Nah,
I
dude.
was in Springfield that day and I didn't come home
Yeah,
till like 11, so it was
yeah.
slow.
We actually did go, and I think I spent about. We didn't get the VIP. We just stood around. It was
all
Uh,
trash.
right,
There
yeah.
was a big there was a
Nah.
big fight. There was a big fight, and Billy tried to call.
I ain't about to pay for no VIP section just for some random bitches that walk up in. Hey,
I know.
bottle service, give me 42. You better get the fuck up out of here. No. First of all, if I even make that decision and you got random people making demands in the section, you best
Nah,
believe you getting the fuck out. I'm the type
nah.
of nigga I could have $500,000 in my bank account, active, liquid, and I will still pull up the Popeyes. And if they say the Popeyes chicken sandwich is now $5, I will pull out that driveway.
It's $4
I
now.
don't
Facts.
if it goes from 4 to 5, I would be like, you know what?
It's not worth
Go
it.
somewhere else.
Inflation. This nigga complained
Wow.
about juice
Fuck
tax.
inflation, bro. Fuck inflation. Um, economics, all that shit. Because at this point, niggas just be doing it just cause. It's supposed to be when the economy changes, not just cause you want to raise shit. If you feel like, oh, everybody's ordering this shit, I'm gonna raise this bitch up 25 cents. I don't like that.
Bro, even now, haircuts are mad expensive. Like, I'll be waiting like 2 months to get a haircut because it went up price.
Yeah, niggas,
Yeah.
it's regular now to pay like $40 for a haircut, and I'm like,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
I'm
like,
not
when
paid up
did
40.
I'm
Nah,
like,
And
is
like
when
it?
at
did this
work,
become a thing?
and like
It's
at work, but I don't want to spend $40 on my
because
hair.
Exactly.
it be the good niggas who try to make it seem like they exclusive,
Yeah.
so they upcharge their shit. I mean,
Yeah.
my dude, I got shape up the other day.
Oh, shout
$15.
out to Sydney, yo. He hooked me up to his barber. The barber
He
got me
blessed
well.
you.
Yeah,
He's tough.
he's nice.
He's tough. I got shape up $15, but like when I was younger, a haircut $20 max,
15, bro.
like an actual haircut,
Nigga,
and then a shape
what you
up.
talking about younger? A few years, 3 years ago.
Oh
3 years
yeah,
ago. 3 years ago,
I
niggas
mean
was getting cuts for like $20.
the dude we went to also gave us that whole place knew we were in college. So they were like, all right, $20. But if we went anywhere else, it was like 20 plus. I think
Exactly.
Connecticut was the first time I paid like above $20 for a
I
haircut.
didn't know you had to tip your barber. I'm like, that's their all of that is their money. So why am I like tipping? I was like, y'all tip barbers? They like, yeah, bro.
So
Barber.
the way Shawn be talking about Philly sometimes,
Look, bro.
like how much did you get your license for? We talked about this one
Oh
time.
yeah,
You paid like $30.
that's a
Yeah, dude. Like, what the hell? You pay
I
seventy
didn't pay.
bucks for
No,
what?
I didn't pay anything for my license. If you pay, if you pay for your ID, which is like 40 something,
Okay.
and if you pay for your ID, you don't have to pay for your license, but you had to pay for your permit test, which was only $15. But y'all niggas had to pay for that shit every time. You only pay for that shit after you pass it in the state of
What?
Oh.
Pennsylvania. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
pay.
paid it. I paid it before I took it, and I passed it the first
Nah,
time.
they
Thank God.
say
Yeah.
But if I had to
Nah.
take it again, I would have paid it again.
No, you pay it. Yeah, we pay it every time we fail, or every time
Yeah.
you take it, you pay it.
nah.
And then the same with the road test. It's like 100. Well, it depends on where you take it. If you go like some outsourced place, it's like 100 plus bucks every time I fail first time. Got paying $100.
Nah, I didn't pay
Cause
it.
but yeah, but we have a lot of different opinions, about the economy, about how stuff prices range is going up.
We
It's
need an
crazy out
episode
here.
about money.
But
Money's tight.
but speaking of opinions, getting back to what the main topic is here, family's opinions. Our family likes to give us a lot of opinions that sometimes we want and it's helpful, and sometimes it's like no one asked you, no one asked you. But in in a in a sense, they're always going to give it to you, and usually it's in your best interest. But as we've gotten older, I'm sure all of you have been like, ah, do I gotta listen to this? But I'm gonna ask y'all, how important is y'all parents or y'all family's opinion on certain stuff about your decisions, whether it's money, career, all that stuff.
Well, I think my parents' opinion is the most important one. I really don't care what anybody else says to me, but my parents like talk to me about something and give me their opinion. something, or the way they think of me, it matters. Like it's gonna hit a different like bone or something. Um, I remember like I don't know about y'all, but when my parents like put me down or something, like, oh, you're doing this, like you're, or not saying that I ever said this, but like when if my parents would be like, oh, you're nothing, like you're not doing anything with your life, anything. Like I feel like I use that as motivation. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? To make them think of me as more than just nothing. I don't know if that makes sense. That was not English, was it?
Yeah, I think
You
I
know what I
think
mean?
we get what you're
But
saying.
like when our parents put me down, I use it as motivation to go back up and make them think that I'm a good son. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think that's just the way I was brought up to be. But like just like money stuff, like right now I live on my own, and my parents are like, you should invest into this, you should rent into that, you should rent into this. Make sure like you make better decisions now to so that your future self can be happy about it and stuff like that. And yeah, their opinion matter. I feel like that matters, and my siblings also. I feel like siblings are really honest. Like if you do something that's fucked up, like my sister, I know she's cut to like Shawn, bro. She would not sugarcoat anything. Like I bring a girl home, bro. My sister would be like, will like cut her up in pieces, and I'm like, all right, maybe this is not the girl for me.
That's messed up.
Yeah, my
Look,
sister, man,
look.
and my sister is like 13 years old too. Her mouth
Sometimes you
runs,
need
man.
that.
Yeah, my brother too. My brother's a quieter one, but his opinion actually matters too. So
Mm,
That's wild.
yeah, I
mm.
feel like there's definitely something else I need to say though, but if I can't remember what it is, but if anything comes up,
Uh,
I'll jump in.
I mean,
Go
it
ahead.
sounds like you got a good dynamic going over there, bro. I mean,
It's good for now. It's good for now. It's good
yeah.
for now, man. I love my family. I love my parents, and
I
I
got
feel like
love for my.
we've learned
I got.
to grow into each other.
I got love for my peoples, but I don't. I don't know if their opinion is like top for me. This person. I mean, it depends on what it's about.
Yeah.
Um, it's like circumstantial. But like most of the decisions I make, I don't go to them and be like, "Yo, should I do this?" The last thing I really went to my parents about was about getting a car, because like
Hmm.
that's always something that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
Like this is my first car, so like my dad, the one who be into cars and stuff, so I obviously asked him to come with me look at cars and stuff like that. Asked my mom to help me out with insurance and XYZ. Um, in terms of like money and like my social life, like I don't really go to them and be like, "Oh, yo, what do you think of this? Like, should I do this with this person or this person's doing this?" Like, we don't really talk like that.
Hmm.
We only talk like that if it's like serious, but it's really never been like serious or anything like that. Um,
Yeah.
in terms of like relationships, I've started to tell my mom more about like how I go about relationships, and not like specifics, just the fact that I'm dating someone, or
Hmm.
because she usually knows if I'm dating someone. I don't know how, but it's
It's
like,
the mom intuition they always say.
yeah, like the first time I ever told her I had a girlfriend was like probably my junior year, and she took it a lot better than I thought, but I also still didn't like her response
I
because,
mean, come on.
yeah, I mean,
What was the response
my
like?
so y'all both aware that you know I
You
dated,
brought a white woman to an
yeah.
African parent.
Oh, I didn't
There's
bring it to
nothing
her.
wrong with that in
I
theory.
I didn't bring her to her. They never they met, but they didn't met in that capacity. So it was like before I came.
Wowzers.
It was like before I came, before my junior year, and I told her, and she was just like, "Oh, you have a girlfriend?" And I was like, "Yeah, mom, I have a girlfriend." And she goes, "She's white, isn't she?" And I was like,
Ah! Oh my
I was just
gosh.
like,
It's
I was
okay.
like, what?
We got love for the bunnies too. That's fine.
I was just like, why you say it like that? She was just like, I just know, like, I know who you are. Like, I just, and she wasn't like mad,
Yo.
but she asked me, she was like, so I showed her obviously, and then she was like, okay, and then she obviously asked me like, so do you just not like girls that look like you? And I was like, no, that's not
Wow.
it. Like
Wow.
that's not it. Like
She
that's
met your whole character.
I was like, that's not it. If that was it, like I I'd be disappointed in that. But it's just like that's just what happened. I told her like we just met, we clicked, and then that's the rest just happened. And then she was like, listen, I have no problem with it. Just I just want to make sure like you don't like not like people who look like you. And I'm just like, that's not it.
As long as you ain't out
I
here in the sunken place.
Yeah. So I told her like if she was, you know, different race, I wouldn't be no different. Um, but yeah, like and she like kind of tried to expose me the other day before I went to Six Flags. She was like, she basically told me like just don't be out here wilding, like don't be out here just with mad chicks, like don't want to ruin your life and all this stuff. And I'm like, what makes you think that? And she's like, oh, you be out, you be hanging out with friends. Like, I don't want you to be entertaining all these women and, get caught up because, they do that over there in Africa. And like, the guy can just like run, like basically just leave and nothing will happen to him. Where here is like, you got to pay child support. They go find you, all that stuff. I was like, well, I'm only dating one person. And she was like, oh, and then I just explained it to her. But
This is an FYI, viewers. We are a platform that believes love is love. Obviously, we do have our preferences and stuff like that, but
Shot, stop.
it's nothing wrong with mixed relationships, whether
Nah.
it's any ethnicity out there. So we just going over our experiences, man. We dipped and dabbled in many of things, but we understand that love is love, bro. Whatever floats your boat,
there's no
as long as it's healthy. Now, if you a coon out here, then all right, then we'll support that. We'll support that.
no fetishizing either.
Exactly.
But
No check
there's
boxes.
there's no love. There's no hate here. There's no hate over here.
Exactly.
But yeah, my parents' opinion is like in the middle, if not lower. But and I
Mm.
don't mean that as disrespect. It's just like I've tried to become like they've given me their opinion so much in my life that's just like I kind of want to make my own decisions.
How old are
And
you?
I know that if it's something like that I'm not familiar with,
Mm.
that I'll ask. Usually my mom, but I'll ask them. So, Mr. Host, how do you feel?
It's a touchy subject for me. Um,
I think he just does what he wants.
Yeah, facts.
That's what he wants.
He's like, Mom, my name is Shawn Hall. I do all that.
Look, I'll put it to you like this. I let people know what I'm doing. I have
He gonna
particular friends.
listen. He
I
gonna hear you,
I'll
but
listen. I'll listen.
that don't mean he gonna do it.
I mean, when it comes to things that I don't necessarily know, yes, I'll ask. As Sid said, most of the time opinion is already given to me, um, or whatever. But I'm a person who asks questions, so I ask to some people. I ask questions to the point where it annoys them. When in reality, it's just me asking simple questions. But I listen. I understand it, but I'm also a person who's going to give you my opinion and give you my point of view when it comes to certain things. That does not mean I don't listen to you or understand what is being said. I'm just giving you my take on it. So to answer the question as simply, and yes, I am not being direct because I could spend an hour on this topic, but um, in particular moments, yes, I do listen to um, certain people within my family when it comes to certain things. But I also am a big person of you have to experience certain things to fully understand stuff. And I would say that throughout my life, I've been put in certain situations, whether intentionally or unintentionally, to learn very quickly. So I don't know everything, but I do take the time to listen when it's necessary, especially when it's detrimental to a particular point or movement within my life. Yes, there's my answer. Very
Very.
politically correct.
That's very.
That's
Yeah, I was
correct.
about to say that's a very PC ass answer. But
One day we'll
that
get the
was.
full answer on that.
This is somewhat related, but it's not in particular to your family. But y'all, grown men, 20, 23, 22 years of age. Y'all have dated a lot of people.
What are you 20? Who
Do y'all
22 on this
No,
panel?
no,
Who's
nah. I've
22
not
on
did
this
it.
panel?
23, 23?
I've only
Do
had one
y'all
girlfriend, bro. I don't date that much.
that's yeah,
What?
liar.
Finish the
It, do-
question.
do
it doesn't
y'all do
exist,
y'all
bro.
do y'all care? Do y'all do y'all how do I say this? Do y'all care about y'all parents' opinion in terms of who you're dating? Like, do you need them to approve? Well, not approve, but do you desire for them to like okay the person you're dating? And like, say if they were like, you
No,
know, yeah, no,
Sean, that's your answer? No.
no. I
no.
mean, I've never came to them and was like, "Hey, do you like this person?" Because here's the thing. Here's in
Hmm.
my experience. This is what I've been told.
Yeah.
Um, my mother always liked to say she understands that she doesn't want to be and will never want to be that person. She's always told me that once I have a family and I have a person or that I could call my significant other, that is that woman is now like your priority.
Hmm.
So she's not, I don't think I'll ever have to make one of those decisions to where it's like, oh, the mom or girlfriend or whatever, because my mom has secured me that she knows and understands where she is. Obviously, I can't necessarily just be like, all right, fuck my mom. That's never like going to happen in respect to whomever. But it's to the point where she knows that that's an aspect of my life that involves me. I don't necessarily have one of those moms who's just like a hoverer when it comes to me and my girlfriends and shit or
Hmm.
whatever. But obviously, there's going to be the sentiment of, do I enjoy this woman? Yes and no. Now, I would say that my mom always plays this little joke where like she claims to not know their names or whatever. But she knows, but I definitely have felt to where she either just didn't like the person or did like the person just based on what she said about them or whatever. But majority of the time she would say most of that stuff in front of the other person. So it's like, but do I go into a situation thinking like, oh, is my mom going to like them? Because at the end of the day, I'm the
Hmm.
one supposed to like them, not them. Now, and also the type of, I would say, women that I'm drawn to is not anything that I would be embarrassed to bring around my family or whatever. Because whether if I do have family members listening to this, whether they believe it or not, I am a very family oriented person. More so with my friends, I would say, in my current life. But I cherish shit like that, and what we'll get into a little bit later. I do want to exhibit that very strongly when I have the chance to have my own. But I would, to answer the general question, I would basically say no. I don't necessarily go to them seeking, hey, do you like this person or what do you think or whatever. Usually it's kind of always casted to me
Mhm.
after the first meeting without me asking or whatever. But even if they were like, even if my mom was like, oh, I don't like her, and well, I'm just gonna be like, okay, well, that's for me to find out, really, because I obviously like her for a particular reason, um, whether it's her ass, her intellect,
Why is that the first thing you said?
her personality.
Oh
That's just me
no,
being funny, people. That's just me being funny.
no, he's
Nah,
not.
But
nah, funny.
He's like dead serious to us.
I'm being very. First of all,
Nah,
told you before.
if that's what you like about a girl first, just say it, bro.
Good asses come in all shapes and sizes, people. Remember that. But yes, that's my answer to the question. I don't necessarily go to them for approval.
Jan.
Yeah. Thinking back on what Sean said, I don't go to them for approval. I feel like I need my parents' approval based on like respect. For example, like if I bring a girl home and she's like not my mom talks to her, my dad talks to her, she's just like, you know what I mean? She's not respecting their household. I feel like that's a deal breaker for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm very close to my parents, and like me and my parents have been through a lot. And I feel like if I bring somebody home, like the way I used to my parents is the same way they should respect the parents. And I feel like with that, because all the girls I've been with like American girls, and like they have a different different type of respect for like the significant other parents, and it's not the same. But I feel like we find like a common ground with at least like respecting. My mom told me once, she's like, you cannot bring a Puerto Rican girl home because one time I did in high school,
What?
You know how that Puerto
Love
Rican
is
girl was
love.
loud.
Love is love.
No, the Puerto Rican girl was actually like disrespectful. Like she was like my mom would talk to her, she would not answer her. She was loud. So mom does not like Puerto Rican girls now.
Well, she's just a shitty person then.
She was a shitty person.
That's fucked up.
But I
But
don't go out to her and be like, oh, what do you think about this girl? What do you think about this girl? Usually she's like, if she missed my girl for the first time, she'd be like, oh yeah, I like this girl. Like, what do you like about her? Like, when she tell me she's pretty or anything, like, you know what I mean?
okay.
And you know what's
I
crazy? I tend to go towards girls that remind me of my mom. Does that make sense?
Huh?
Okay.
not. I
You know,
don't think in terms of like looks. I don't
it
think
tells
that's
not
what.
on looks and just like the way they carry themselves and like like you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like respectful women.
Yeah.
Yeah, respectful
Like
women of society.
not that we
I'm still not gonna say that, but yeah, respectful
Nah,
women of.
because I mean, you got some niggas out here who that's what they try to go for. Like, they literally is like, I need somebody to be like my mom, which you have some people who are like you to where it's like a normal thing in terms of just like the traits, not necessarily the whole embodiment. But then you have other niggas who's just like, yes, I basically want you to be exactly like my mother.
no, that's not what I want to say.
Nah, I don't need that. That pissed me off. That shit me tight. Um,
It's not
I
like
don't.
that. It says
No, I
remind me.
know it's
No,
not
we
like
got
that.
it.
I
We got
no.
Oh,
it.
okay,
We're
okay,
just saying
okay.
that there are people
I
out
know
there
it's not
like
like
that.
that.
Oh, okay, okay. Got you.
Because some niggas want to be babied, and it's just like,
I
Look, you're not
mean,
gonna
nah.
lie. I love being baby, man.
yeah, every now
I
and then it's
mean,
cool.
yeah, but like, it's not no like.
When your tummy
Yeah,
hurt,
bro.
bro, I want my chick to rub it on my tummy and be like, "Can I get you some ginger ale, babe?" Like,
Hey, yo, I'm
bro,
not gonna get
I
into
want
this.
breastfeed me. I want to be baby.
I'm not gonna get into
what?
this.
Yo, that is an interesting thought. I'm definitely gonna
What?
try breast milk
You're
Breastfeed
straight from
me.
the teat.
wild. Hey,
Straight from the teat. Try
yo,
breast
what the
milk.
fuck is wrong with you?
Me and my child, we both eating.
Nice.
Yo,
He got the left
um,
city. I got the right city.
this is just way off topic, but
It's
um,
not.
this pertains to what the question was asked. But do you look at your potential partner's relationship with their parents? And I'm gonna answer the question and be like, no, because
I feel like you can only see that once you're in already, though.
no, yes, I understand, but um, what's it called? I don't care. I mean, if it's something like where your parents is being cool to you and you just an asshole to them, it's like, all right, then you weird. But if it's just like, if I feel like they're just not that close with their parents, that's not a deal breaker for me. Or like, if I feel like their parents wouldn't like me for a certain reason, I really don't care. Cause like I've dated people and they're like, oh, they'd be mad worried about me meeting their parents, like, oh, if they'll like me or whatever. And
That's the best type of relationship, not gonna
I'm
lie.
just like,
If the
I
parents,
don't, the what?
I said, if you have to be sneaky around the house because the parents don't like
Yeah,
you or something, that's looking the best type of relationship. Not gonna lie.
Why? Explain
I
that.
don't know. I don't know, bro. I can't explain. It's
it's
just the
just
best.
like you're
You have to
getting
be
what
the
you're getting what you can't have.
yeah.
It's just like you shouldn't be doing it, but it's like you don't care. I don't care personally. Like if your parent, if I date someone and my partner said like, yeah, my parents don't like you, I'll be like, okay.
Oh, in that
Like
regard, yeah. I'm like, I could care. I could care less.
I
To be honest, it's hit or miss for me. Now, I'm honestly scared because of my experiences. I am scared of like that aspect of the relationship because you never know what you're going to get.
I
Obviously, you
hate
know
that
that
part.
person, but you don't know if the family is going to be wild, if there's going to be welcoming, if there's going to be microaggressions, depending on which ethnicity you may go into. Even if it is the same um, culture and stuff, or even same color but different culture. There's a lot of things that you could potentially have to deal with or whatever. But I'm the type of person, I don't really care if they don't fuck with me as long as you fuck with me. But as long as people are
Exactly.
cordial or respectful, then I can do that. But if people are then being disrespectful, then maybe I would have to move myself out the situation.
What
Um,
if uh what if it's a girl that you see like potential marriage with and the parents don't fuck with you? I feel like those families have to mesh,
that's
right?
hard. That
That's
and
hard,
that
but at the
that's
end of the
tough.
day, that's a matter of like how much you like the girl. Because it's
Yeah.
like at the
Okay.
end of the day, you dealing with her.
Not
Right.
On
necessarily.
nine out of 10 out of 10 times, you're gonna be dealing with her. So it's like you're not
But
gonna be dealing with the family.
then also on the
Okay.
back end of that though, it depends. You might have to deal with the family depending on how close she is. Now, if
Yeah.
she's somebody who's not that close, then you don't gotta necessarily worry about it. But if it's somebody who like they ride or die or whatever, then it's like, all right, damn, I gotta deal with this. But I fear that. Because I fear whether it could be the good family, the bad family, the weird family, the just non-existent families, because they're all
Yeah.
different avenues that you got to walk through when it comes to that. Because if it's the bad family, then it's like, all right, now you got to deal with the trauma, you got to deal with all, go through all that and the different experiences and stuff like that. If it's the good family, all right, cool, you can fit in, you're welcome and all that shit. But everybody got dirty laundry. But and then if it's the family that don't fuck with you, then it's like now it could be a lot of movements or actions to where it's like me or the family. And I feel like that's a hard decision to make somebody to force somebody to make. If it's
Yeah.
marriage, if you're already deep in marriage, then like that's 50-50. But if you just like early relationship and then family don't fuck with you or whatever, and you know you're a good dude, and then it's
Yeah.
kind of like forcing her to choose between them and her,
I
then
mean,
that's not a
I'm
good
never I'm never
situation.
gonna make someone make that decision. But
I ain't saying
to
you.
me, no, I'm just pointing this out. But I would never make someone make that decision if I felt it was to the point where like they got picked between me and their family, and they really rock with their family. I'm just like, hey, like, do you? But it's just like if your family really don't mess with me, I don't know. I just don't take it to heart. And I feel like a lot of like the girls that I've dated feel like I would take it to heart. I'm like, I really couldn't care less if they don't like me. It's just like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be dealing with you on a daily basis and be
Yeah.
dealing with your daughter.
I
So
was
it's like
I was literally threatened once, and
Oh my God.
I almost laughed in his face. I had to hold it back. And Sid knows my facial expressions, and like I was trying my hardest not to laugh, and it was just,
Yeah.
it was
I
speaking
don't
of
think
bad.
that,
I
this
I don't think I care much if like a family doesn't like me. Like I've been in a relationship before where like a family didn't like me, and then like the group, like I grew on them. You know what I mean? They didn't like me at first, and then like later in the issue they liked me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we just kept it pushing. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. But I feel like if like I was at a different stage of my life, and like I was thinking about marrying this girl, and the family didn't like me, then I'd be like,
That'd
I
be
don't know.
tough. That'd be tough. That'd be
Yeah,
tough.
I'd be like, yeah.
I just had. Oh well, this is kind of touching upon a later topic, but we're already here. So, speaking of what Shawn said, he was threatened. I'm assuming he was dating someone's daughter, and what? I don't know, but
What? What
no,
do you say?
I'm not on the cable,
What did
but
you say?
I don't know, but
I heard the titty.
just edit this in post.
I heard the titty.
But what was I gonna say? Do y'all? I just lost my train of thought. Dang. What was I gonna say? Oh, Shawn was threatened dating someone's daughter. Do you guys see yourselves, you know, being that dad?
Ooh,
Yes and no.
that's a good question.
Explain.
Simply
Was it the
because,
dad that threatened you? Was it the dad that threatened
yeah.
you?
Simply I say yes and no simply because the way I visualize myself as being a father, which I don't know how it may go, I want to be that like the dad that can have so much fun, but you also know not to cross that line. Like I'm the fun dad, but you all like it's also a
Same.
point that you can go. Like you can no, not the cussing. Like you're not gonna sit there and like I'm not one of those people who like the people who sit there and had a child cussing at age 2 and then think it's okay, but then when their child is fucking 13, 14, saying fuck you to your face, then it's you questioning why. I'm not one of them kind. I don't think I want to be one of the kind of parents, but I want to be the fun dad. Um,
Why did Sid leave?
I don't know. I want to be the fun dad or whatever that is. I would say that you can't just like you there's that point to where like you just can't cross or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I would always I'm very opinionated, especially when it comes to like looking at people or whatever. But I also believe that some people have to make their own mistakes when
Yeah.
it comes to um, certain stuff. So if let's just say I had a son or daughter who was dating somebody and I didn't necessarily feel favorable for that person, if it got to a certain extent, then if they asked me my opinion, I would definitely give it. But if it was something that I saw that was like only the only way in which I would step in is if it's like physical.
Okay.
Whether it's if my son hit on a girl, I'm fucking him up. If somebody hit on my daughter, I'm fucking the dude up, or
Yeah.
whatever, and vice versa too. To where it's like if a girl hitting on my son, I'm just like I've raised this dude to be respectful, so I don't think you should take advantage of that or whatever. And I would speak my mind to her, or I would let my wife or his mother speak to her
Yeah.
and all that. And if it's the girl, if she getting on, then like obviously, if that's a nigga touching my daughter, then shit might
He's
pop off.
done.
But if
Yeah.
she
Your
hitting
mom
him,
might go to
I'm
jail.
exactly. If she hit him, then
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Ain't nobody raised you to do no shit like that or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So it's like I'll let them experience their own stuff, but I know I can't hold my tongue when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
I'll try my best to like let them learn. But depending on how the dude come in with it or girl come into the situation, if they're not coming into the situation humble, then I'll definitely sit there and I'll take a back seat and I might test them or test them out real quick and just be like, oh, you want to come in here and think you high and mighty or whatever. I'm not gonna do no like blatant shit because I know me. If you,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna try to sit there and be buck and then like flinch at the nigga
Mm-hmm.
and then he sit there and laugh. Because if you laugh at me in my own house and I do some shit like that, then you might
Like
come.
you did to the father.
I didn't laugh at him though. I
Mm-hmm.
contained it, but I wanted to laugh. But it was like nah, like it's just like to the point where it's like, nah, you can't. But you gotta let them learn. But also, you can step in depending on the circumstances and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's situation by situation. But I would try to be. I would say I'm either or. What about you?
Okay. I feel like I want to be like the dad that you can come up to and talk to about anything. Like I want my kids to be comfortable talking about anything. Um, when it comes to dating or anything like that, like, cause we've been through it and we've been like young guys too. Like if my daughter brings a guy home and like I can see in his vibe or something that like he just like is not serious, he's not gonna be serious or he's gonna hurt her or something. Like I feel like I'll sense that vibe because like we've been young, we've been there, we've been to girls' house where
Yeah,
we just don't want to do anything, we just want to like hit it and quit it. You know what I mean? Like just hurt the
yeah,
feelings and shit. Um, but like I wouldn't be so rough about it. I'll just like that's my daughter's or my son's business to like take care of that. You know what I mean? I will give her advice. I give her my opinion, like my parents do,
yeah.
and
Right.
then whatever she wants to do with it, like she has to do with it. I if if whatever I said ends up happening, I'd be like, you learn your lesson now, try to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like learning the hard way. You know.
yeah. Like I
But I
always.
want I go ahead,
Go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
But I said I want to be the fun dad. Like if my son has a girl that he likes, like, not how he goes about it, but like some advice. You know. Like
Yeah.
my parents gave me condoms on the first day of college. They're like, "You're gonna need this," and I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
You're
You
wild.
know what I mean? I
That's
am like
wild.
I was surprised as fuck. My mom pulled that condom. I was like, "Mom, where'd you get those?"
Nah, I would I would be the type of person that like you could always come talk to me about anything or
Yeah,
whatever, but I will hope that I've raised them well enough to have respect for themselves, but also understand that they can experience life. I will
yeah,
always want my kids to be able to experience life, but also not be afraid to come to me when they need it. That's why I said I would like to be that fun dad up to a particular point
yeah,
because it's like, yeah, you could be the fun parent, but you also have to be a parent at the end of the day. And I'm a
yeah,
person who believes in like you gotta explain certain shit to people. You can't necessarily just go about it in the way in which generations have gone before to where it's like, all right, sit down and shut up, do as I say, not as I
yeah,
do type shit. And it's like, I believe in beating my kids, but I'm not gonna abuse my kids.
Yo, this nigga.
It's not, but see, it's to the point where it's like, I'm not going to abuse my children.
yeah,
It's like if you do something wrong, then like you have actions for it. Yes, I'm not going to beat you every time because and not everything calls for a beating. And if you do get a
yeah,
beating, you'll it's not all right, you get your ass whooped and then you just come out later. If that's what's called for, sure. But majority of the time I would explain to my kids like, hey, do you know why you got in trouble? And it's just like, no. And it's like you got in trouble because you were bad, you were mean. That's not how you talk to people and stuff like that or whatever. And a lot of times people just like, or even if you're wrong as a parent, you can explain that to your child and say like, all right, I didn't mean to do that. I'm letting you know that I made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you own up to them and shit like that. And
mm-hmm.
I think as long as you have conversations with your children, then like shit could be okay. Nothing will ever be perfect or the exact way that you want it, but if you have constant conversation with your kids and be real with your kids and allow your children to evolve instead of keeping them in that same spotlight,
Yeah,
then they can grow with you as you grow as a parent.
mm-hmm.
So I think that I would hope that me doing that someday could result in them understanding that they could come to me when they need, but they could also experience life and not necessarily be afraid.
The thing, the thing I'm like excited for or interested to see how it's gonna roll out is the use of social media when like we're parents. Because I know like social media affects like kids now and they affected us. How is it gonna affect our kids when we're parents, and how are we gonna like like take away like separate the reality from social media to them. You know what I mean? That's something I'm very interested to see. You know, I've just been thinking about that a lot. And like my girl asked me like, how long would you wait until you give your kid a phone or something? And I was like, damn, because I feel like social media in the future is gonna be like crazy. To the point where kids are gonna have fun like
Elementary
coming out the
school.
womb. Yeah, dude. I said 12
Elementary
because I feel
school.
like 12 is. I said
I
12
didn't get
because I feel like
one.
12
I
is.
didn't get one until 7th grade. Also, my dad pulled the plug to the internet. That's why I got cut out.
That's funny.
And my dog broke out of his cage.
Yo, how's your dog, man?
God.
It's a mess.
I'm
I'm breaking
guessing
out
your
of the
shit
damn
ain't
cage.
turned back on because you still spotty, bro.
I'm connected with my phone. It's
Yeah,
like
bro.
the hotspot.
Yeah, this you spotty right now.
Yeah. How long would you wait until you give your kid a phone, Sean?
Depends on the situation. Depends on the situation, to be
When
honest.
did you get your first phone?
I got a prepaid phone just for spying, in 4th grade.
Spy?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I was leaving the state and they wanted to
okay.
know what I was doing. But I didn't get a real phone until the 6th grade. So, but I don't know. I didn't necessarily like that me and a 9-year old had the same phone, but
Mm.
yeah. But I would say that probably 7th, 8th grade, probably.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about phones?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long would you wait until you give your kid a phone?
I didn't get one till middle school, so I didn't get one till like 7th, 8th grade. So either that or
Yeah.
like earliest like 6th grade.
My I didn't get one until I was a freshman in high school, like a real phone. I thought I was a freshman in high school.
Damn. So
Yeah.
Sid, is you going to threaten? Is you going to threaten your kids person if they bring somebody home?
No, I just don't have the energy for that. It's just like I know, like I'm just not a threatening person. If y'all met me, I don't know why people I'll be meeting people. They'd be like, "Oh, you just seem like you're." I thought you were really threatening at first, or they think I'm like scary. Like I'm
Hate when
not
niggas
threatening.
say that shit.
I'm not. I'm just very much not a threatening person. I'm like a chill person. But if I sense like you're gonna disrespect my daughter or my son in some way, then like I'll make it known, like, yo, you can't be doing that with my peoples. But it's like I'm not going out the gate because there'll be dads like out the gate don't even know who you are. Be like, yo, I'll fuck you up if you mess with my daughter. And it's like, bro, we haven't had a conversation. You don't even know if I'm a dickhead. I mean, yes, so there are certain things like if like he'll see like, oh, maybe this dude drives a motorcycle or he has mad tattoos or whatever. Like there are dads who put that like image in their head and it's like, I don't want my daughter dating that person. But it's like if he a cool dude and he just respect you in your household and outside your household and you respect your daughter, I don't see no problems. So I don't see no reason to start off threatening. Cause then that just makes him more that makes the person less likely to like want to interact with you. So now every time they come to your house, they're afraid and shit. But oh, your dad crazy. It's just like the fuck.
You gotta
So
give me a strong reason for me just not to fuck with you, and that's
that's what
that.
I'm
That ain't
saying.
even that. That's now. Like
And the
if
thing
it,
is, even if there's a reason I didn't mess with you, I'd probably just tell my daughter or my son and
Yeah.
be like, "Yo, he did this. I don't think he for you."
true,
So,
possible.
because I also don't want to embarrass my kid, because it's like, depending on what age they are, it's like, okay, I don't really care. But if they like grown, I don't want to be that dad. Be like, you know how like y'all been on different teams,
If you
sports teams.
grown, that
Yeah,
ain't none of my business.
no, well, yeah, but like y'all been on different sports teams, and then there's been that kid who like didn't play a lot, but then they told their parents, and their parents went to the coach about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like that's just stupid. If you have a problem with how much you're playing, be a man or woman. Ow, damn it. Be a man or
That's
a
it done.
woman. Yeah, try to fucking bite my foot. But be a man or be a woman and go up to your coach like, yo, why aren't I playing more? What do I gotta do to improve? And then
Nah, I'm not
whatever.
gonna hold you. If I'm in one of them situations, I'm gonna be a realist. But in the situation of like,
Down.
if we talking about some like priority, let's just say the coach got a kid, and like I see that the
This nigga plays a lot, and then his
yeah, like
ass.
I see the
Yeah,
whole offense being played through the kid, I'd be like, yo, sit your fucking kid down.
I had
Like
that,
play
man.
other people. Like I'm not one of the people who believe in participation awards, but like now if we on that type time, then like yeah, I'm gonna open my mouth because it's like, bro, you get your shit together.
I had that. I had this kid where his dad owned the soccer team, and this man was ass, and he played
Down.
the whole game. And then there was a hole in the defense. Like he played defense. There was a hole in there all the time. He was ass, dude.
Um, if you want to get into these surveys,
Surveys. So
What
here
service?
here on the Bag podcast, me and Shawn like to ask questions on our Instagram about, the topic of the week. We
Yeah.
like to get our listeners' opinion or just general people's opinion about certain stuff. Some of this we've already talked about. Some of this we're going to get into hopefully later, um, or touch upon at least. But I'm gonna give mine real quick. Mine's is mostly polls, so I'm gonna just survey polls, not stripper polls. I know Sean's gonna try and bring up that joke
hey,
again.
hey,
But
you gonna get strippers
uh,
in here one day.
oh my gosh! But the first question I asked was, could you cut off a toxic family or not? Well, I think I just realized it was a typo. But could you? I meant to ask, could you cut off a toxic family member if needed? And so 63% of people, 67% of people said yes, anyone can get cut off. And then 33% of people said no, it's not that deep.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm not the type of person to just cut people off in general. If you fuck with me a certain way or mess with me or don't just fuck me a certain way, I just avoid you. I don't really see it as cutting off because cutting off is just like you cut all ties with that person. I don't have the effort to do that. So it's
Mhm.
like I don't really care enough. I'm just not going to incorporate you in my life. Um, so I would kind of just say no. I wouldn't say it's not that deep because yes, if you have a family member and they're just not the detrimental to your life, you probably shouldn't have that person in your life. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to just cut that person off. But guest Mr. Yan, who is just eating on the podcast
My bad, my bad.
unapologetically.
I just got hungry real quick. My
I
fault. I just ordered
Just,
I just ordered I just ordered wings. It just came through, so I'm sorry.
would you cut
you
off a
good,
family
bro.
member who you felt was toxic?
Well, that's hard. I've never done it, but I feel like if a family member was very detrimental to my emotional state, yeah, I would.
Mm.
Or like I've known like this is not my family, but I know some family members who like they would just come to your house unannounced, ask for money, like they don't even know what's going on. Like just anytime you down, they're not there. But anytime you're up and like you trying to get your life together, that's when they come and like trying to be toxic and ask you for shit. And I've seen people get cut off because of that. So I feel like that would get me somebody cut off because I feel like when I'm going through something, there's nobody there. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But I've never done it. I don't think I would. I don't know. It's also family, you know. I
fair,
don't know.
Mr. Sean.
I don't have a problem.
Nice quick answer. Um, what is one thing you want your future family to do? We got a lot of responses, but the consensus was travel. A lot of people said travel. They want to travel with their family. Traveling is, I guess, a big thing nowadays, especially in our generation, seeing different parts, and I guess people want to bring their family with them. Even though I feel like that's annoying because it's depending on how old your kids are. Because there's a certain age where you gotta start traveling with your kids. If they're too young, they go fuck up and they're gonna be annoying. You gotta constantly take care of them.
There's a
And then there's an age where
balance.
they don't appreciate what is going on.
There's a balance, and it
So
starts at a particular point. You just got to know how to navigate it. If you throw shit too crazy at them early on, then yes, later in life, shit is gonna peak. But if you balance it out properly, sure. But then I feel like it's mostly the mixture of people who constantly go on vacation, the people who constantly go on good vacations, the people who don't go on vacations at all, except for the neighborhood shit or the shit that's like 25 minutes outside the city. And then you got a mixture. So it all depends, to be honest.
okay. The other
I think
interesting
one
one
thing. Wait,
oh yeah,
one
go
thing for
ahead. My
me,
bad.
me and my family have family barbecues every Sunday. I want to keep that tradition going. Like we sit
I be
down and eat
seeing
together from the.
I
We
be
sit together and eat
seeing
from the same plate. You know what I mean?
dinners. I thought you meant barbecues.
Barbecues, yeah. We finish cooking and then we serve it up on a big plate and we all eat from it.
I be
You
seeing
know what I
y'all
mean?
cook. I be messing with you.
Yeah, bro. I'm a chef on the grill, bro. You come through.
I be messing with you. The other one is be multilingual. Okay.
Was that
Uh,
what was that from? What ethnicity was that person from?
she is, to my knowledge, African American,
Hmm.
maybe Jamaican. I personally don't know. Um, I know who she is, but I don't know where she's from. But next one, how many kids do you want? The options are zero, 1 to 2, three or more. Uh, I
How many
personally,
niggas said zero?
11 people said zero, and some of them are a little surprising to me because I know some of them. I'm like, dang, I didn't know they didn't want kids like that. Um, and then so 1 to 2, and then three or more are pretty much tied. 43 people said 1 or 2, and then 41 people said three or more.
I'm starting to feel like people answer your questions first and then just see mine second and then just choose not to answer them because a lot of people see them but then they just don't answer. So
Yeah,
it might just drift to you just be doing surveys because I don't like the lackluster response.
How many kids you
yeah,
want?
I
huh?
want 2 to 3.
I'd be cool with three. I feel like after four, I feel like if I have a fourth, it would most likely be like not planned.
That was I shot up the club by accident.
I'm gonna aim for two. If I have time for a third one, I will. Nick Cannon, I hear be shooting out the sperm everywhere.
No, Nick Cannon has a problem. He
He does
literally
not
has a
have a
problem.
problem. He just
He
has women in his
absolutely
life who know what they want and he knows what he wants also.
he
That
most
man's fertile.
he
I'm telling
most
you.
definitely has a problem.
What is his problem? We don't need to get into
He,
this,
I've
but like, bro, I don't think he has a problem.
I don't know, man. It's a lot, but we touched upon this earlier. Is your family's opinion slash input important to you? 77% said yes. 23% said not really.
Hmm.
I kind of saw this coming, but some of the people who said not really is okay. Okay, but that is the consensus.
Are those all your questions?
Yes, those are my questions.
Okay, I'll get into mine. Mine were more so open ended this week. The same consistent set of people answered them for each one, but these were questions provided by our producer. Shout out Chanel. Um,
All
what's
right,
one
Chanel.
thing that your family slash parents prioritize that you carry with you? Basically, we kind of got into that earlier, and most people, well, out of the people that responded, which was only 3, We have religion, importance of being genuine, and prayer, respect, well, self-respect, and education. Even though they said one, we said one, but obviously gave more answers. But the second question was, what's one thing your parents did that you want to do with your children? And the responses were how much how much it'll cost for all the responsibilities of taking care of a child, loving someone more than myself. That was a response. Oh wait, hold on. I'm reading the wrong question. My
Come
fault.
on, man. Come on.
What's one thing your parents did that you want to do with your children? And the responses were over the top Christmas, family trips, um, encourage, encouragement and support. And the next and last question is what scares you about having children? And the answers were how much it'll cost for all the responsibilities of taking care of a child and loving someone more than yourself and being a parent who won't necessarily be there for every moment in their child's life or significant moment in their child's life. That's that's a hard hitter right there one for me. Um, not knowing all the answers to life journey in the process of raising a child. Now, those are I think that's something we could get into for just a little bit. Um, I'll answer that as well. I can agree with all of those. Um, but I would say that hopefully I'm in a comfortable state to be able to afford a child. Um, my biggest proponent in raising a child is I hope that I don't overcompensate because I know that I didn't certain things that I didn't have. I definitely want to make sure that my children have, but I don't necessarily want to overcompensate to the point where I either push my children away based on my experiences because I don't want to create that cycle of now I'm basically trying to create my perfect world for that I wanted on a child. I don't want to necessarily do that. I want to provide them with similar experiences to me, but also in the areas that I lacked, I would like to provide confidence, but not overconfidence to the point where it's like you got the helicopter parents to where, and when it comes to sports and shit, to where it's so deep that like the child doesn't even want to play the sport, or you're so overprotective that the child doesn't feel like they're free and shit. So it's like I would definitely try to be there for my child in the right capacity. And I wouldn't say I think about this on a daily because that's not, I don't have kids or whatever. But I would say if I had to think about it, the one thing that would scare me is my child not being able to confide in me. If I ever come to that point or that day, that would be a sad day because that I feel like that's the moment for me to where like I didn't do well as a parent. If my child can't come to me and be like, "Hey, Dad, I did this or I did that. I need advice or whatever." So, briefly, what would you say scares you about being a parent?
Mr. Conan.
Um, I think like what the person said, like not knowing how, like if your kids comes to you and be like, "Oh, Dad, I need help with this," and like not knowing how to go about it. I feel like I want to try to figure out with my son or my daughter, whoever comes up to me and talks to me about it, because I feel like there's a lot of shit I don't know for sure. Like I'm not like I don't know everything. I'm not like a life guru or like I don't know or like the most perfect human being. But like if I don't know, I'll try to figure it out. But my biggest fear is not knowing how to go about a situation if my kid comes up to me. You know what I mean? But it's not. It doesn't scare me to the point where I'm like I'm gonna shit my pants, but like I'm gonna try to figure out with them. You know? So
Mr.
that's
Sarfo.
briefly.
Um, so mine is kind of two. My, I guess one is just not having like the fear of not being there for big moments. Um, I want to obviously go into medicine, um, and hopefully ultimately be a doctor. I don't know what type of doctor yet, but I'm interested in surgery and the schooling for just going to becoming a doctor is long enough, 4 years, and you got to train anywhere from 3 to 7. So, and when you're training, you're working pretty long ass hours. Um, so like, and even when I finally like am an actual doctor, yes, I'd probably have more freedom about my schedule, but I don't know. I feel like I would miss out on certain stuff, depending on what I end up doing as a doctor. And then the other one is just being dealt like situations I'm not familiar with as a parent, that I didn't deal with in my life. Like, and this is no shot at um, this situation, but like I'm obviously black, straight dude, and most of my family's straight. So like I have no problem having a kid who identifies as, gay or part of the LGBTQ community. But I feel like I don't have the knowledge enough to deal with that and the, complications that come with that, along with being black. So I don't know. That's just a fear of mine. Like, granted, if that comes to me and I gotta deal with it, like I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. But like, ideally, like you'd want like kind of like a situation like yours, like you get a son or daughter, and you know they're just like any other situation, and then it's just easier to navigate because you're familiar with it. So I just be like weirded out if I wasn't, even if it's some like if I date like a you know what's it called, like if I date a white girl and then my kid is light skinned, like I'm not light skinned. Like I don't know how to do. I know how to be like I can obviously help you how to navigate being black, but I'm not light because light skin. It's light skin privilege. Like I don't know what I'm dark skinned. Like
Nah,
I don't know.
let's see people
Oh
got it
God.
hard, bro. Let's see people
That's
got
what
it
I'm, it's
hard.
like. Because it's like, oh, you black or you're not black enough. Like
Yeah,
you too black to be white, and then you're not black enough to be black.
yeah.
I'm very black, so I don't. I can help you, but I don't deal with that. Like I just want to be. I want the situation to kind of be like mine. Obviously, not the
Mhm.
same exact thing, but like something I'm familiar with.
It's kind of funny
Yeah.
how you talked about a light skin kid because I feel like you're gonna go the white route a little bit. That's what you like.
It depends.
I mean, this I like. I'm not speaking for my co-host, but what he's saying is love, and if
Oh
that's how
my
you,
god! Stop making this bad PC. I
all
gave
right,
a
fuck out
real
of here.
ass
No,
answer.
you gave a real answer, but I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, fuck it. If that's
No,
what it
yeah.
is,
If it
that's
happens, it
what it is. It
happens.
is what it
If
is.
it
I don't
exactly,
think
if it
that should be a
happens, it
fear
happens.
though.
I'm
But
not saying
that's
like
you.
oh, I don't want my kid to be part of that community, or I don't want my kid to be this or this. I'm just saying like if I had to pick the situation, I most likely wouldn't pick that
Nigga,
situation.
you ain't pick your life.
I'm not picking. I'm just saying if you were given the choice and it's just like, oh, this or this, I'm most
Nigga,
likely gonna pick the situation I'm most familiar with.
I'll put it to you like this. You can't choose. You can only make certain things happen, but you cannot choose your fate.
I
Just
understand.
like you can't choose your child's fate. If
I
that's
understand.
It's true.
if it
It's true.
That's
goes
why
if it
that
goes that way, even if they're curious and they drift to that area. So
I'm cool with it. That's what I said. I'm just saying I I personally right now, even though I'm somewhat knowledgeable about it, I don't know I don't deal with the
I
complications
know,
of that.
but be comfortable though. You can have
just hear it like this. That's like you.
No,
That's
I
like
get what
that's
both of you
No,
are saying.
I'm
that's like
fucking with you, but I'm just saying, just be comfortable.
it's just for
Be
the
okay.
audience. It's like a white white chick or white dude dating a black chick or someone opposite gender, same gender. They get a mixed kid. They obviously not black. They don't know how to deal with that, so it's kind of hard for them to help the kid out. That's just what I'm saying. That's where I'm coming from. But anyways, those are a lot of scenarios that we were just talking about. But we're gonna get into one of my favorite parts of the show. It's called "What You About to Do," and in this section, I give scenarios to both hosts, myself and Shawn, and our guest, Mr. Jan Conan today. And I want to see what they would do in said situation. So we have 3 scenarios today, and they all have to do with, the topic at hand, which is family. So for the sake of orderliness, each one I ask, we're going to have Mr. Jan answer what he would do first, then the host will answer. So the first scenario. You're out on a date with a girl you've been seeing for a short period of time, and you run into your parents / close family members who doesn't know them, who doesn't know about them.
Mhm.
How do you introduce them? Yeah, how do you introduce them to that family member? Are you honest, or you say they're a friend, or you're just talking? Like, how do you go about that?
What?
Honestly, like if I'm just seeing them on dinner, we're not
If
gonna get to
you
those specifics.
say you've gone on 3 dates. This is the third date.
All right. Well, we're
I
not gonna go
don't.
into the whole.
Go ahead.
We're not gonna go into the whole. I'm not gonna run them down to 3 dates when I see them. I'm be like, oh, this is a friend. You know what I mean?
No, they run
And
into
then
you
yeah,
unexpectedly.
no, for sure, yeah, for sure. But I'm not gonna be like, should I ask who is it? I'm like, oh, like this is a girl I've been seeing. Like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm be like, this is a friend, and then like later at home or like if they call me later, I'll be like, oh, yo, who was that girl? And then I'll give them the rundown. You know what I mean? Does that
Okay,
make sense?
okay,
I don't
I
get
feel
that
like
it.
makes
at dinner,
sense.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's just a friend. Does that make sense, Todd?
No, it makes
Yeah,
sense. I'm talking, but he was starting his response. But Sean,
Uh,
you were very adamant about this.
I don't give
Let's
a
go.
fuck. I if it's between me and that woman. If we establishing that we just talking, and I'd be like, yeah, that's my friend. But if we establishing at that point that this is a thing, then I'd be like, yeah, it's my girl.
you would
But
know by the
you,
third date.
I'm not saying I would know by the third. First of all,
He said three
I
dates.
mean, in most of my experiences, they were school related. So obviously, if I'm on the third date, we're together. But
Uh,
in the atmosphere or whatever now of the world today, yeah, probably 3 dates is not. You could still just be talking to people. So
yeah.
who knows? But I highly doubt I would run into any family members or whatever. But in the instance that I would, if it is third date, I honestly believe that's between me and that person before I would go out and say that information. Because I'm also not the person who's a boaster when it comes to shit. Like I'm the type of nigga that like if you don't ask me if I'm got a girlfriend or if I'm fucking somebody right now, then I won't say it. My family just be like, oh, okay. But if it's like, all right, cool, you ask, I'll be like, all right, yes, I am in a situation. Or if it gets to a point where it's like, all right, let me meet such and such, or I think it's the right time, then like, yeah, I'll say something or whatever. But I'm not just gonna be like, oh, hey, I got a girl now. I'm hot
Yeah.
shit. Like, no, I was never like that. It just happened. But no, I don't. It depends on me and that person. I'm not gonna crack under pressure and be like, this is my girlfriend or whatever.
um, I would personally just say that she's a friend, and then
Yeah.
move on. Um, those are all good responses. Um, but for the sake of timing, I just want to ask one more. This will be very quick. Just, I, this is my favorite one. I should have asked it first.
All right,
You're
bet, bet,
going
bet.
to propose to the love of your life, and you ask, and you ask,
I already know this one's gonna be risky as hell.
and you ask the father. Usually, you ask the father, but let's just say, for the sake of conversation, you ask the parents.
I feel like you know
You
my
ask,
answer to this
you
question.
ask the father slash parents for permission to, marry their daughter, which is the customary thing to do. They say no, and it's not a no. Well, granted, we don't know what race they are, but they just say no. What are you gonna do? What you about to do?
Wow. I go first.
Yeah.
Uh, damn. I'll probably just go ahead and talk to my significant other or something and be like, yo, I, I asked your father this, and like he said no, so you better go talk to him about something. I don't know. Hopefully that I hope it never happens to me, but you better go talk to your dad, yo.
Dang, you gonna tell her the middleman that shit? Okay, okay.
I mean, like he's
No, I don't. I have no problem with it. It's just
yeah.
funny.
I mean,
It's just a funny scenario. Like,
I'm gonna ask him like, why don't you think I'm the right guy for your daughter or some shit? And then like based on the conversation we'll have, I'll go back and talk because I feel like my significant other is the one I'm marrying, so I feel like that conversation needs to be there also. You know what I mean? So I'll have it under the father. Whatever happens, I'll talk to my significant other, and then we'll figure it out.
this is true, Mister
She,
Mister Sean.
she gonna have to go talk to her dad.
Mr. Sean Hall.
I'm gonna try my hardest not to say fuck you. If this, nah, it honestly depends on the relationship. If I'm cool with him and he say that, then I would genuinely want to know why, and then we would
Yeah.
have that conversation. But if it's on some just like, oh yeah, no, I don't want you to date my daughter, then I'll be on Jan's type time and I'll be like, okay, well, I think you need to speak to your father or whatever. But I feel like by the time we actually decide to get married, I feel like that unless that particular woman's family is highly religious, then
Mm-hmm.
I think we're kind of past that point of like, hey pops, do you gotta like, can I have her hand and shit like that. So, but it depends on the relationship between me and that man.
Fair.
Gotcha.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't care because like I said, I don't care. I don't really care what the parents think of me. I mean, and y'all say y'all would bring it up to your significant other, but it's just like now it kind of ruins the proposal because it's like
I mean, you talk about it before
you
though.
talk about it
Yeah.
before, but then it's just like, hey, I asked your dad this, this, and I was like, now she puts two and two together. Oh,
That's
you gonna
not fucking up the
propose?
set. That's not fucking up the setup though. Because like I feel like you talk about marriage and then you talk like you think about it before you do it. Yes, there are instances to where you can secretly do it and have that convo, but I also feel like there are different instances to where it's like, all right, y'all are actively talking about it, and that could be a component of conversation because like you don't want to sit there and like you said, you don't want to have her make that decision between the choice of you and your family. And now let's just say you had a conversation with the pops and he like, no, I don't like you like that. I don't want you to marry my daughter. And then y'all elope or some shit or had a wedding anyway. Then now she got a wedding where her pops not gonna walk down the aisle or some shit like that. Then that winds up fucking up the day or whatever.
Of
So
the
it's
whole
like,
wedding.
or yeah, or even the whole marriage. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you don't have that conversation, that could be detrimental to you later on down the line.
Yeah.
And it could also see, is this the right thing? Yes, you may love her, but and sometimes you gotta love people from afar or whatever, depending on the situation. Not saying that minor thing, not saying that thing would like fuck everything up, but for some people it could.
Fair. This is very fair.
But
That's
yeah,
it. That's it here for what you about to do.
what you about to do? If you ask me, I want to ask you. Ooh, wow. If you know
That's not.
Jack Harlow,
Nah, stop, bro. Stop.
it's a great
You ain't
song.
know.
But that's it for tonight, people. Thank you
Thank you.
for listening to another episode of the Bag Convos, aka the Bag Podcast, where we talk about any and everything. We do what we want. We have whoever we want on here, man. We
Thank
have
you guys for having
fun.
me, y'all. Thank you guys for having me, y'all.
Thank
I
you for
We
appreciate that.
coming,
we
man.
we appreciate you
Yeah,
coming very last minute.
Giving us
yeah.
your family response and stuff like that. Your wonderful experiences in the family dynamic.
Mhm.
He was so
We
comfortable. He
appreciate
ate
it
on
all.
camera.
What?
I said he was so comfortable. He ate on camera.
I know we're just like
Bro,
that,
I
man.
was mad hungry. Sean, you were eating earlier, so what?
I exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know why he's saying it, but he just fucking
I
with
was
me right
messing with
now.
him.
I know, but
Um,
I'm not hungry right now. I don't know why.
it's all good, man. As long as you ain't munching in the mic, it's all good.
Yeah. Was I munching on the mic? On the mic?
Nah.
All right,
No.
thank God.
But all right, people. Good night. Jan, let them know where you at again.
I am at kingofcoco.com. Follow me, at me. I'm in Boston. Come through, come visit. We'll have fun. Cindy is also out here.
He's
I'm
off
trying to
the
go to I'm trying
he's
to go
off the
to
market
Philly
though,
too.
ladies. Though he's
Oh
off the market.
well, I'm off the
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
Actually, don't let your girlfriend stop you from finding your wife. So, ladies, I need a
This
wife.
nigga
I have a
nigga,
girlfriend
you
right.
gotta stop saying this. You
I have a
can't
girlfriend now,
say
but I don't have a
this.
wife.
Yo, you can't say this, man. Dang.